Hello, everybody. My watch has just reminded me, sent me a notification that we are live once again here at vidIQ, the creator-obsessed YouTube education channel. And before we go any further, I just need to do one thing. There we are. We are live. It's time to get this live streaming audit show on the road. Hello, everyone. My name is Rob. Welcome to vidIQ. And if you are brand new here, then every single Tuesday, you as creators get a little vulnerable. You get a little nervous. You submit your channels to us, the vidIQ auditing channel, where we will offer constructive criticism and we will take your channel hopefully to the next step through wisdom, motivation, and a whole lot of inspiration. My name is Rob, and I am rejoined by a gaming expert who's been playing video games rock solid for the last 2 weeks in order to re-prepare himself for the 2023 onslaught of gaming channels. It is Dan, the man with a plan. How's it going, Dan? Welcome
Good.
back.
How are you? Yeah,
I'm good. I am fantastic. We've had some wonderful live streams in your absence, but it is so good to have you back. What's been keeping you busy during your time off?
You know, playing games, rebuilding my office. It's been fun.
Yeah, we can see it's kind of in mid-construction, so we look forward to how that's going to progress over the next couple of... Whoa! Oh my goodness, he's got multiple angles. Oh, that just scared me completely. So what we need to do, Dan, is when you have like an internal thought monologue, I want you to switch to that camera and then like kind of whisper what you're really thinking.
Can you do the internal monologue?
2, 1.
No. Wait. I want you to do the monologue.
All right. Okay. More Stardew Valley. I need more Stardew Valley. There we go. We've got it all synced all straight away. Well, awesome, Dan. We're going to have a lot of fun with that throughout this live stream, no doubt. But let's introduce our next guest. But he's not really a guest at this point. He is one of our regulars. It is a man who has a surname that rhymes with channel. Ladies and gentlemen, from Think Media, it is Sean Cannell. Sean, how's it going?
Man, rise and grind. It's a new day full of new opportunities, new possibilities. I'm fired up to crush it, and I'm fired up to be hanging out with you guys. Let's review some channels.
I'm getting extremely jealous that everybody has multiple camera setups here and is able to switch from one angle to the other. Maybe, actually, Sean and Dan, maybe can you switch to your second camera angles and just have a conversation with each other right now?
Hey.
Second angle combo, you know?
Yeah.
It hits a little bit different than the first angle.
You know what's nice about this? Is that Rob can't do it.
I wonder what you can do too. It's more of more cinematic. Like it's more like, hey, can we talk? You kind of go, you have got this one, but then you're like, listen, we got to get serious. And we need to really dig into some things here.
But you know what I can do? If people give us a super chat, I can do this. How incredible is that?
Was it the sound effect that we were...
You'll have to send us a super chat again. Well, can you see the lights in the background, Dan? I'll just do it one more time.
Oh, are those Philips or the other ones?
These are Govee lights.
Govee is, that's the hack. Govee is the brand.
We go. I wanted them to flash green and do all sorts of fancy stuff, but right now I can just get them to change color and change back. So I will try and modify them in the future. But maybe we shouldn't just talk about all our amazing tech, which is bound to break 45 minutes into the live stream, and actually audit some some channels. So if you are brand new here, folks, do let us know in the chat, and our regulars, original gangsters, our moderators, will welcome you in to this family unit. But if you're here thinking, what on earth is going on? How does this all work? How do I get my channel audited? Then this is your 48-second explainer. Welcome to the vidIQ channel reviews live stream. Simply fill in the correct form in the video description and your channel will be considered for review during a live stream. Channel reviews are free, so no need to send us a super chat, and don't spam us in the live chat. We'll ignore it and you may be put in timeout. After the live stream, don't forget to download the vidIQ extension where you can get a custom channel audit, daily ideas, and an AI-powered video title generator. Link is in the description. If you submit your channel for review, expect the following. We are sharing nothing more than our knowledge, experience and passion as fellow creators. Thank you to all of our moderators who help us out on the live stream every week. You know who you are. Give us a like if you enjoy this live stream, subscribe if you love it, and share it with like-minded fellow creators. All right, let's get started. I'm not going to start talking about this background anymore. I'm starting to prefer this one. Housekeeping, as always, we do not accept super chats for channel audits because we want to keep this service free. However, if you do send us a super chat, we will dedicate some time to conversing if there are questions. Dan is back and he is an excellent starrer of comments for super chats. So we'll try and get to as many as we can. In terms of a channel submitted, we do have a somewhat of a disclaimer in the description. If your channel is not appropriate for a PG universal audience, then unfortunately, as much as that might be accepted on YouTube, because of our audience, we may not be able to audit it, and we will let you know and apologize in advance if that is the case. And that might happen in the random portion of this live stream. But in the meantime, Sean and Dan, I think it's time to audit our first channel. So we just jump straight in.
Let's jump straight in.
Oh my goodness, sort of sound effects and everything there. Wow. Okay, right.
All right, I didn't audio check that. Was that too loud, or is that
was good?
It was fine. It was fine. All right then. So I'll do a sound effect. That's the wrong sound effect. I'll do another sound effect as we audit our first channel. That is Rym Daily. They have exactly 333 subscribers. They're a third of the way to their subscription goal of 1,000 for monetization. And Daily, renew your mind. I'm getting the vibe of this is going to be motivational, inspirational quotes from leading figures across the globe. I'm getting a Evan Carmichael vibe a little bit just from the thumbnails and titles, but I'm going to throw it over to Sean for his first initial thoughts on what is effectively a brand new channel to YouTube.
Yeah. So initial thoughts: clean, clear. And are we seeing that there's about 4 videos posted? Is that
just
how
4
many?
videos so far? Yeah. So very early on in their journey.
Which is also, I think, an encouraging principle for everybody listening. Like, until you've posted like 40 videos, you haven't even really dipped your toes fully in the pool. Like, and so just to get momentum and test some ideas. So really off to a great start. It appears, I clicked on a video over here and it appears it's an AI voice and some kind of script, and it's sharing then information, the daily routines of Albert Einstein, which is a cool value proposition. I think there's some uniqueness there. I do know that for those that are trying to build out channels that are automation or faceless channels, that Google is a little bit with new channels, because it's hard to compare yourself. You go, there's a channel over here, it's succeeding, it seems monetized. Yeah. With new channels, sometimes they seem hesitant to monetize them with AI voice content and a ton of heavily maybe AI generated content. However, my thought is with quality, I think that Google wants to promote quality with a real human behind it. And people are pulling that off. And so my initial thoughts is, yeah, I mean, it's Evan Carmichael color scheme, which looks very nice, very simple and clean. And it's a cool idea, and why it seems like there's, YouTube's a lot about, it's much more about consistency and eventually having a breakout video, because there's probably others doing something similar. The concept is so sound. There's unlimited wisdom in history, unlimited content, really. You're tapping into influence surfing by using individuals that are known. And I really like it as far as the first impressions thing. I think that there's something here.
Right, I'm going to try something here. This may not work, but I'm just going to turn off echo cancellation for 1 second, because I think if I do that, you'll be able to hear the audio from the video. Dan and Sean, just nod if you can. You don't have to say anything, because I know it causes issues. And I'm going to turn it back. So here we go.
And successful people from the past 400 years. how they made the time each day to do their best work, how they organized their schedules in order to be creative and productive. How do you do meaningful creative work?
So I've turned on echo cancellation again, so it's probably muted it. But that wasn't a bad AI voice, wasn't it? It's not the worst we've heard, but it was still AI. And I think as a broader discussion, now that ChatGPT is coming along and AI has taken this massive leap forward in the last 6 months, do you think that YouTube is going to try and clamp down more on what it perceives as the AI generated content? Or do you think this is transformational enough content to be monetized? Dan, I'm going to ask you that question first for your thoughts and then just throw it back to Sean. And then we'll move on to the next channel, because with 4 videos and where they're at the moment, it looks like they've got a very clean, promising future in terms of an audience. But is that going to turn into monetization down the road, at least from an ad revenue perspective?
I mean, there's no real telling, and I don't want to sit here and say one way or another for sure, but
Sure.
I would say it's a risk, especially with what I perceive to be a very easy task of getting a microphone and talking into it. Now, it takes practice, and it's a certain level of comfort is needed to do that. But once you can overcome those hurdles, you eliminate that risk almost completely, because it's a lot harder to argue like, well, that's a real person talking. You know, now the AI generated portion of your channel becomes a little less AI generated. So I think it's great to use AI to like help with certain things, but there comes a point where having it do everything for you basically kind of puts you back at square one if your goal is to like get monetized. So I don't know where this channel is in terms of how much AI they use versus not use. It's we could split hairs all day. I'd say it's a risk. And although that was a better AI voice, I still don't love it. I on break, I was watching a lot of YouTube. I must have skipped dozens of videos that I clicked on that I thought were going to be for me, and I heard a voice like that. I'm like, no, sorry, because I just don't trust it. I don't know about anyone else here, but I have like a distrust towards it. Like, I don't, if you did this AI voice, what else about this? It was quote unquote cheated. Like, what part of this was a cheat code for you, and how much writing was done that was like thoughtful and well researched versus just a script done by an AI with no proper like vetting or anything like that. That's like what I'm dealing with right now when I look at content on the internet.
So what you seem to be saying, Dan, in your opinion, is AI should be used to complement what you're eventually going to create organically in some way, be it through the scripting or like finding images and stuff. But at the end of the day, coming through at least your earphones, you want to hear a human voice. And this, would I say, is probably just the wrong side of that threshold? Like, it's 51% AI generated for you, which means that it might not be monetized, or at least it's a risk. And again, I appreciate we're trying to read YouTube's mind on this.
Yeah, for sure. It's just hard to sit here and say definitively. And
then your general thoughts, Sean, on this, and then we'll because I think it's a topic that we need to cover a little bit as we audit more and more channels, and then we'll move on to other stuff.
Yeah, I think risk is the right word. What I do like is that this is an opportunity for creators to get into the game, to start learning YouTube if they don't want to get on camera, if they don't want to even share their voice, to start learning skills, to start assembling content. When I think if like I would go to this individual and say, if you've got a big vision to build a massive motivational YouTube channel, this is just such a great start. And for any of us, we have to evolve as we go. So if you get out 20, 50 videos, I saw a YouTube video about an automation channel that hit the threshold of 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, and then was disapproved for monetization. And I believe what they said was they then unlisted the videos, or they deleted them, kept the channel. I don't know if that deletes your watch hours, you would know. But then deleted the watch hours. So maybe they just unlisted them. Does that, if you unlist them, the watch hours stay?
I can't remember. I can't remember if it has to be public. I think YouTube's term now is public watch hours. So I think the video has to be public, but I'd have to check the support pages to confirm that.
And all I know is what this individual did was they actually did what Dan said, and they went back because the content was good, whatever. And they went back and they did their own human voice to try to just requalify. But it's like, you can't steer a parked car. So it's so good to, I think, start, and you can pivot along the way. Hopefully your channel doesn't get, blacklisted forever, and YouTube's like, oh, because AI was involved. You can always reapply for monetization. And then Road Rust Nation asks, do you see with AI that advertising money would be less for those videos? Really good question. I think my prediction would be yes. CPMs, well, CPMs seem to be predicated on quality of audience. To a point, quality of content seems to influence CPMs. And I mean, it's certainly audience. It's advertisers that are willing to pay on certain content. Business content, real estate, personal finance commands higher CPMs. So more than anything, I just think it's a great question, because the quality of content that's attracting, real humans, not bots, or whatever, not just this AI long tail, and that substantive community. I think that it's a good way of thinking. And so when possible, to again Dan's point, if you, in a world where people are going, I've heard Rob say this too, like it's just kind of the lowest barrier of content, you got to be asking, how could it be a little bit better? So even if you're going to be using all these tools, how do you go a few notches above in terms of quality? And that could be even the very AI voice itself. There's some people who might go into AI where they give you sliders and tools and slide the tone, and are listening and are thoughtful and go in and fix the word. Auto captions is a good example. I've seen auto captions, they miss a couple words. Those who take a couple extra 2 minutes to just go fix the words are the person who didn't just let AI just go out, but like is thoughtful about maybe mixing the audio, mixing the AI voice. And so I don't think it's a black and white issue. I think it's very gray. And I do think there's a lot, you absolutely should be leaning into AI. But that human element's going to be crucial for standing out over all the noise of people just kind of the lowest level of content.
My goodness, what a knowledge bomb. We're going to have to take that and clip it and turn it into a video itself on a discussion about whether you can monetize AI channels. Brilliant conversation there. And we'll get back to what we're here for, which is auditing channels. Now, this is the first gaming channel that submitted. And Dan, I welcome you back. We were really struggling, and we were just telling people to stop playing games, basically, for the last 2 weeks. So if you could advise AnR Gaming on what they can do to push their channel to 1,000 subscribers, having 500 right now. They've produced a lot of videos, there's 622. I'm wondering how many of them are shorts, how many of them are regular videos. They've got 200,000 views, so they've had some success in the past, but they've been on YouTube for almost a decade. Phew, lots to maybe investigate here.
Well, step one, stop playing games. I'm just kidding. Let's see. So whenever we look at channels like this, the first thing I always like to look at is like, what are you playing? Because the value that the audience perceives is going to be centered around what games I play, right? So I'm seeing Tomb Raider, I'm seeing Skyrim, I'm seeing Getting Over It, I'm seeing Doom, I'm seeing Destiny, and I'm seeing Pokemon. A Pokemon video. It's not even like necessarily like a gameplay video. They're just kind of doing something different. So the Pokemon video has over 100 views. The Destiny video has over 100 views. Everything else hasn't quite reached that point yet. And it starts to raise questions about the type of people you are attracting to your channel. And it could be partially to do with the different titles and thumbnails. Like, I know exactly what that Pokemon video is kind of about. I can kind of get a sense of it. And so maybe that's why it did a little bit better. Whereas the other ones like Doom and Tomb Raider, like it looks like you're kind of just playing Tomb Raider. And that's neat, but a lot of people just kind of play Tomb Raider or play Skyrim. So the other one seems like there's some opinion involved. It seems like it's going to stand out a little bit better. I'm seeing Minecraft. So there's a lot of different games kind of all over the place. And I know creators, there's a number of gaming creators that hate when I say you should play one game. And I'm trying really hard to figure out what I mean by that, because I tell people play one game with the thought in mind that it's a great training wheels kind of for your channel. You start small because one game means like an automatic focus. At least you're focused on one thing and you can start to build momentum and build an audience. But there is a point where gaming channels can branch out and start to do things and continue to draw in more people, continue to keep the people that they've already drawn in. But it takes time, it takes practice, it takes building trust with your community. So I would still recommend this channel focuses up a little bit more, and not just play one game, but how do you play your games? What kind of value do you bring to your community that you're trying to, get into your channel? What are you doing differently that other people aren't doing? And these are questions that you kind of have to sit down and answer for yourself. But I'm looking at this content, especially the content with like episode numbers on it and stuff like that. And I kind of see content that you're making and you're having fun making, but you're making it for you. And it's fine to make content for you, but there's not enough being done for the audience. And this is a big struggle for gaming channels because some of the people you watch are highly entertaining and it looks like they're having a lot of fun. And you're like, I want to do that. I want to play games and want to have fun. But what gets missed a lot is how much value they're actually bringing. They're making the content for an audience. And one person you can look at in particular, one of the top streamers on Twitch is DugDug, and they put a lot of their content on YouTube. And if you watch them really play, it looks like it's a lot of fun, but none of that content they're making is for them because DugDug doesn't play the games for himself, right? It's always for the audience. There's never a time where DugDug is playing the game the right way. And that's not helpful to you if you're trying to progress in the game. But a lot of streamers and YouTubers, they want to progress. They want to get farther and farther along. So they just play the game and they hit record. I want everyone to start rethinking how they do these videos because people have done this already. People have just done walkthroughs, general walkthroughs. Like, what are you going to do in your game that's going to bring people in and give them a reason to watch? They've seen it before where someone just plays the game front to back. Like, it's time to dive in a little bit deeper and say, okay, I'm going to play this game, but this is the twist. This is what I'm going to do differently.
One thing I've observed here, Dan, as I've been looking through the titles in particular, is that they're made up of 3 components where they've attempted to add some curiosity. Then they just throw in the game, presumably for some keyword search opportunities, and then an episode number, which is just literally a number. I just feel as if in terms of a title, there's so much disconnect there that it requires unpicking and then putting back together, which, you know, for a thumbnail and a title is not clear. As Sean often says, if you confuse, you lose. So I'm confused there. And then regarding the thumbnails, again, I'm just assuming here and coming up with a thought about these animated faces. When I go on one of the thumbnails, they are not in sort of animated form. I think they are just 2 people in a room playing a game. Like here, you can see what they actually look like. So what I'm worried about is that they've managed to get access to these incredible animations of their faces, and they're determined to put them on the thumbnail, even if it does again make the thumbnail less clear to the viewer. Sean or Dan, do jump in because this is basic title and thumbnail conversation as opposed to gaming in particular.
Yeah, I also think with that many videos, just continuing on your line of thinking, that
Indeed,
pivoting, you know, I understand the attempt at branding. So you think branding, this is what our logo is going to look like. Us 2 cartoon faces. This is kind of the brand. And if you've got branding that shows up in thumbnails like that, then people can keep clicking on your videos because they fall in love with those characters. But if you feel plateaued, which could be, you know, while you're submitting this channel review, then it probably is a time for a pivot. And to apply this to everybody, if you feel plateaued, you could go to discouragement. We don't recommend that, but it's normal. You could go to giving up. That's not helpful. Or you could go to pivoting. If you feel plateaued, it's just time to make pivots and maybe try something new. Try something new in terms of best practices, but try something new in terms of, you know, thumbnails, titles, making content that's in service to the viewer. And in some cases, it might be making a radical pivot. And so I think that one of the biggest challenges for us as content creators is we truly can't often see the forest from the trees. You're immersed in 622 videos. You've been doing it. And sometimes it could be a radical shift in the terms of, okay, we're going to kind of switch up the content format. We're going to lean on just one game. We're going to experiment with something new. And I think that's the opportunity. YouTube is testing and experimenting. And then as you see bright spots and breakout moments, then you steer your channel in the direction of kind of what's working to, you know, follow the views and the feedback loops of comments or engagement signals.
Dan, anything else to add there?
No, I think you said everything and more that I was going to say. I wish this channel, like, I've seen a lot of channels like this that have hundreds of videos
we have.
and not a lot of thousands of views on those videos, you know. So I get it, and I think if I was doing it for that long and seeing those results over and over again, I would be asking myself the question, like, what can I do differently? I think this channel has a lot it can do differently, but at the same time, there's the dedication is there, and I'm sure you've learned some things along the way. So I wouldn't get discouraged if this channel review was not anything you wanted to hear, but I would start thinking seriously about ways you can change, and best of luck.
All right. Very quickly before we move on, we have Gaming Corner right now, so where Dan and I just talk about what game we've been playing over the last week. And do let us know in the chat if you're a gamer, what video game are you currently playing now? It doesn't have to be on a YouTube channel. I'm just really interested in what video games people are playing. So Dan, currently I am working my way through Wolfenstein, Blood. What's it called? Bad Blood or Blood Omen. It's another one of those classic Xbox Game Pass games whereby I would never buy it myself, but because it's there to download for free, I'll just play it, smash through it, and move on to the next game. What are you currently playing on?
No Man's Sky had an update.
I tried it. I got very bored after an hour. Sorry, it felt like there was too much grinding and resource gathering, but you're into it, I guess.
That's No Man's Sky. I mean, and once you get to a point in that game, it's you get a lot of money, and then the resources, the basic ones, you can just buy them, and you kind of accumulate them over time. But now, like, they've released these new ships, and I was having fun getting those. What is that?
Who's driving who's past whose house? I don't know.
Oh, sorry, truck. I'll throw in. I am I'm not gaming right now, but I'm actually probably spending about an hour a day, 30 minutes to an hour a day watching StarCraft 2 at a pro level from Winter StarCraft.
Oh, that is a blast from the past. Wow. I was just going to jerk, Sean, that you just play The Sims in real life with your two young children.
That's the season that we're in. It's funny though, like I'm not a big sports guy, so I'm way more into esports, and I never would have thought, but professional StarCraft 2, which is still a whole move. I was just thinking about, and the level of watch time. Like I'm chilling I'm like eating dinner, watching 45-minute matches, like and just boom. And I'm like, these channels are crushing. Like this is a whole, and that game's so old. It's pretty wild that it still has such a passionate crew.
You heard a lot of things first, folks.
Think Media Team, Kyle and Ian are playing World of Warcraft. He's in LA, Kyle's in Vegas. They're taking down dungeons together or whatever, the matches together. And so Kyle and I were talking through that. And we're out here.
All right, that's Gaming Corner. Let's now get back to some channel auditing. That's the game we play here every Tuesday. And we are looking at The Road Less Traveled. They've just cracked 200 subscribers. Congratulations there. 40 videos made so far. So they're right in that prime spot of, I've started on YouTube. I've now got some data. I've got some feedback. I have some breakthrough videos. Some have already got over 1,000 views. Others, run-of-the-mill 200 views. This is the perfect type of channel for what we can advise them to maybe focus on next. And Sean, since this is a channel you picked, where should this channel be looking next to take them to the next stage of their YouTube journey?
Yeah, I like this channel because it seems for travel channels, the angle they took is they're in Wisconsin, and I'm guessing they live there. And they're definitely covering search-based things like this Wizard Quest place. I'm checking out the video, and it's pretty cool because if you start thinking, okay, I want to do a travel channel, but I can't travel. Well, what if you just cover and even some search-based or interest-based locations? What a fun thing to do. Side note, check with your CPA, and I could just speak here in the US, but then you going to Wizard Quest becomes a write-off instead of, because you're making a journalistic film about it, vlog about it. So it's just like a really cool kind of model. And so the vision is we hope to educate, inspire, and see cool new places. And my thought is, I'll kick it back to you guys for some strategy titles, thumbnails. But the other thing I start thinking about is like, you start thinking about the business development opportunities of being a micro influencer and a nano influencer.
Yeah.
When you have maybe a more niche area, and you're pulling great views already for a small, niche kind of an idea that you could connect with local businesses. And when I say business development, you know, the influencers get a bad rap of like always asking for free stuff or like whatever. So you want to make sure you have the right energy about it, the right communication about it, but just building relationships, building those collaborations, thinking about I would imagine you've built this around what you love doing. So now it's like different, like maybe paid things you could do, video production. Even people say, how do I make money with a small channel? I'm not even monetized yet. I only have 201 subscribers, but look at the videos you're making. Like these businesses want content created. So if you even think about how to package essentially your services, like, hey, what we do is we document businesses. You could use this video on your Facebook page. You could use this video on your Instagram. And so the overall just kind of vision and how it's set up, I think is really amazing. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for you there. But Rob, what do you think about titles, thumbnails, and the content?
Well, first of all, I just want to give them full amazing credit for the sourcing they have done. Like they've taken all of these images from different areas, different places on the internet. I've actually sourced them, and I very rarely see anybody doing that. So full credit there. I was just checking if they included the locations. You know, like on YouTube, you can add the location instead of hashtags. And I think this right here, the featured place, is where they've tagged the location. So that makes it a little easier to find in search, which is good. Now, going back to the titles, I thought they were a little functional. Basically, the attraction, which city, town, and then the state. And I feel as if they could add a bit more intrigue there, like it was some amazing ride at Wizard Quest or something that shocked you, surprised you. Could you potentially tease that in a thumbnail? I think that's probably what they want to be doing next, because right now they are super search-based, which is great. But I think once you have a viewer who's discovered one of your videos in search, the next time it appears on a homepage, beyond the search capacity of the video, can it add a little bit of intrigue and win that second click from a return viewer? Because I'd be really interested to know how much traffic they get from browse versus search, because I'm learning something about vidIQ in that 2 or 3 years ago, we were a completely search-based channel, and now we've pivoted completely to browse, well, almost completely to browse, whereby we're focusing more on the viewer's desires, goals, fears, as opposed to a specific solution to a specific problem. And we're seeing more click-through rate. And I think this channel could maybe investigate that a bit more. Dan, I'd love your thoughts on this one as well.
I echo everything you just said, because the titles are what got me. I think this is going to be the game changer for this channel to kind of figure out, like, okay, you went to this cool place, but why should somebody watch? And
What's the story? What's the story?
I'm not trying to say that. Whenever I say that, by the way, I'm not trying to insult anybody. It's just not clear in the title and the thumbnail sometimes. And this is one of those examples, like Wizard Quest being a great example. We have like an iconic dragon, and we have very, very basic title. And I want to know about what you did when you went there. So that's, I mean, I don't want to go on that tangent. You just talked about that, but that's where I'm at too. I think that's going to be a huge game changer for the channel.
A person you may want to check out for help with this is Jake Thomas, his Creator Hooks newsletter. Both Think Media and vidIQ have worked with him substantially now in the past few months, and he has these template titles that where you borrow from successful channels and then you inject your themes and ideas into the titles, and he could be somebody to definitely check out with his free newsletter. So that is a road less traveled, but if you've been traveling down this road for a long time, you're probably already well aware of vidIQ and Think Media. But if you're not, then let's introduce us officially to Sean at Think Media. So Sean, tell our audience, the 700 people who are watching, maybe the 3 people on this live stream who don't know who you are, now's your opportunity to tell us what you do.
Yes, my name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. I started shooting videos in my bedroom back in 2010, and now it's turned into a channel called Think Media, where we are a team of content creators helping you with the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And so on the channel, we are talking about cameras and live streaming gear and how to do multiple angles or how to just
Hey,
accessorize your
nice.
smartphone. And then we're also sharing the tips in terms of, we've been sharing AI tools, how to get more views, subscribers on your YouTube channel. And definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. The channel is called Think Media, and we'd love to help you build your influence with online video.
All right. Thank you, Sean. And yes, welcome as always to our live stream. And we will get back to auditing some more channels. Thank you, Dan. Let's press some buttons so we can all get back on screen. Which one do we need to press now? Is it that one? There we go. So the next channel we're going to audit is the Electrical Guy. They've just cracked 50 subscribers. So their first mini milestone from just 8 videos. Join me on the journey as a master electrician business owner in Middle Tennessee. So we have expertise here, Dan. They're telling us that those are their credentials. How are they going to use those credentials to create interesting content for us to watch?
Yeah, this is somebody who my opinion of them is they're an electrician first and a YouTuber second. And this is, I think, a really good place to be, because it means that your focus is already very clear. Like, you're an electrician and now you want to share your journey. You want to share your story. You want to help people, whatever it is that's motivating you to do YouTube. So with only a few weeks worth of videos on the channel, it's already very impressive to see the views that you're getting. And I like what they're doing with thumbnails. It looks like they're experimenting a little bit. They have a long way to go in terms of like communicating that message I want to see, but they are doing custom thumbnails and they are trying really hard with intriguing titles as well. So all that stuff is kind of working. So what I was going to say was, looking at the latest video, for example, this looks kind of like a dramatic video, right? The house is falling. What happens next? And we see, no way this happened. And there's an arrow pointing at, I think, a person.
I think so, yeah.
The lighting isn't great, and I see now I see the arm pointing. I wasn't clear before.
Yeah.
But your background is lit better than the foreground. There's a lot of like things going on with this picture that's just, it's not really helping anybody understand what's going on. The only thing that's helping this video is the title, "The House is Falling." I think this would have been a great time to exaggerate a little bit. Go outside the house, maybe show it lopsided, like make it clearly like not a real thing that's actually happening, but communicate the message to me that the structural integrity of this house is in question. And then the other thing I need to know is, what is the video going to be about? Like, the house is falling. Are you there to fix it? Are you there to document it? Are you there to, did it already break and you're just there to kind of go through the ruins? Like, what? I kind of am missing. I don't know exactly how to communicate that. It's just going to take a little bit of time to kind of figure that out. But that's kind of what's missing for me as well. I'm seeing kind of a vlog where they're just kind of like going through their day right now, which is cool. But I'm missing that one last piece. The why should I watch? It's interesting. It's dramatic. There's just that one thing missing. And I think the thumbnail is that real estate to kind of fill that in.
We don't go into video reviews much these days, but just, looking at a thumbnail, looking at the title, and then this first minute where they're just in a cafe. I haven't got a sound on, but you'd probably be wanting to see a bit of a referencing back to this potential catastrophe that's going to happen or is happening. It's taken a minute here to get to them just coming up to the house.
Yeah.
So it almost feels as if they're holding too much back. The thumbnail, the thumbnail and the title are unclear, and then the content itself, it doesn't get in there quickly enough. I just wanted to point out this title, Dan, where, again, I think it's trying to be a bit too clever. It is Monday March Madness. That may make total sense to the creator and total sense once you're 8 minutes into the video. But for me, just scrolling through and not really understanding what this thing is, I understand the text and maybe it's disappointment here, but there's some missing connective tissue that doesn't make it intriguing enough for me to click. But as you say, Dan, I credit them for really thinking about how to make it curious and intriguing, but they just haven't reached that stage yet. And, to be fair, with 50 subscribers and 8 videos, we wouldn't expect them to be there just yet. Sean, love your input on this one.
Yeah, I was also observing that newest video 2 weeks ago, not only is it a vlog, but it's 29 minutes and 33 minutes and 54 seconds. And so on the one hand, I think this is cool. It looks like you're having a lot of fun. Dan said, you know, it's like you've got this business first, you're documenting the journey. There are some people probably in your community, some people from around the world, perhaps out of the about 350 people that maybe have discovered this, that are interested. And what a cool thing. When it comes to maybe then reverse engineering, the questions would be, what do you want to happen? Do you really want this to grow? Do you really want this to be a entertaining vlog channel? If so, then continuing to invest in the skill of storytelling, editing, and I think one of the biggest pieces of advice for all content creators is how to trim down, how to take 30 minutes and make it a much more interesting 7 minutes. And how to have a great hook on the front, how to have you know, really get to the point quicker. With attention span shortening, that would be a good challenge. But other than that, it reminds me of my journey. I actually daily vlogged for, and how long did I go? I want to say 45 days or something, with a full-time job that was more than 40 hours a week. And it was one of the greatest seasons of my life, learning YouTube, learning editing, just the discipline, workflow of all the things. It also catapulted me quickly to the verge of burnout because I literally did not miss a day. I didn't have any recovery in there, and it was vlog all day and then find time to edit at night, or get up extra early to edit and then upload, just to always get a daily video out. It looks like you're kind of doing it when you can. So I think working on, and if you could hit the about page, I'm curious what the stated vision. So join me on the journey. And I've heard Gary Vee say, document, don't create. Join me on the journey is definitely the vlog angle. To cast a little bit of vision, I would reverse engineer back to say, if this is your dream, or this could be a target you shoot for, really grand, I want to create an HGTV in the YouTube level show in the YouTube world that doesn't have to have those production values, but think about how people love Chip and Joanna Gaines. It's characters. Think about the members in the community around them. These become characters of the show. So think about how you build out your team, yourself, backstory. Think about, and that might not be the vision, but like that's, if you were to scale this thing to absolute greatness, it would be like, wow, that's, and then think about potentially broad appeal, because while some people, would say, okay, I'm watching this, is it other people that are in the electricians industry that are kind of learning from you or enjoying the content? Or is it that the content is interesting on its own merits? When you really tap into storytelling, good story can pull people in that aren't even necessarily fully interested in the subject matter. And the reason why is because if in the episodes you start have some character development, and your characters, and this could be happening, but as you go through, like they're struggling to pay a bill, they've got conflict in a relationship, they're dealing with sickness, or there's health challenges. And any good story, it's like there's the main plot, which is we have to go do the electrical jobs, but then there's also like, I mean, and I see you said the lunchbox came, you know, you found the lunchbox in the text of that 30-minute episode. So you kind of summarize what were the highlights of that episode. The question is, how strong are those motifs, themes, characters, and landing the plane on all of that so we could keep it going. This is why heavily at Think Media, though, we actually point people towards much more practical content, because everything I just described is like the hardest skill set. Yeah. It's one of the most valuable skill sets, but it's very difficult. I think another person to study, even in terms of storytelling, Ryan Trahan's doing some very interesting things. And even just the editing and the cadence and the reset of attention on its own merits, it's like you might not even technically care. It's just so interesting, and the videos hook you in. And so on the flip side, just maybe the search-based or practical videos, you're so early in the journey, pain point based, educational based, helping people solve a problem. Like, because I've walked this path, it's easier to not do a 29-minute and 4-second vlog than it is to just actually vlog 4 minutes of that day, 8 minutes of that day to be like, people always get messed up because when you're doing a cutover like this, and here's how you do it, and then title and optimize that video properly. And you could, out of 29 minutes, there might have been 2 or 3 kind of more search-based, intent-based pieces of content that the storytelling vlog piece is, it's kind of go big or go home, unless you're content with like, yeah, just kind of, you know, whatever. If it grows, it grows, but I just love doing this. But you go the other way, and that's a 10,000, 25,000 and beyond subscriber channel, because it'll just compound as you just tackle the literally 10,000 different video ideas that come up in terms of fixing a house, certain electrical problems that happen, a 400 amp upgrade complete, you know, and how to do that, solving problems, and getting clear on your target audience. So that's kind of up to you. And that goes up for all of us. You know, what is your bigger vision? What is it you're trying to accomplish? And is your current content format going to be the best thing to help you get there? Self-awareness and clarity in terms of what you're actually trying to achieve is kind of the key point to then decide how to move forward.
Speaking of resetting attention. So, on a community tab this week, I put up this GIF and I said, caption this. And the best one would get a free channel audit. So I'm going to bring up some of the entrants now for this competition. And Dan and Sean, I'm going to ask you to read some of them out. I will go first. When you thought you were adopting a puppy, but it turns out to be a very energetic goat.
Well, okay, where's the GIF though?
Do you not see it?
No.
Oh,
I
why
see
is
it.
it?
I
see it. You're grabbing your chin. You're
Yeah,
moving
backing up.
away.
You don't see that, Dan?
Why don't I see it?
That's weird. I see
It's
it.
still on the electrical guy
Okay.
channel.
So yeah, I can see it. All right, it's on the live stream. I don't know why, Dan, but I can assure you it's there.
It's
so,
there.
so just
Should
read
I-
out. So Dan, just read out the comments.
Maybe I should just come back.
no, just read out the comments. It'll be fine. This is yours, Dan.
Okay, when you're about to hit monetization requirements, but copyright strikes back.
Yes, that's a terrifying.
guess.
Sean.
When you see yet another gaming channel competing the non when you see yet another gaming channel completing the non-gaming channel form.
This happens to Dan and myself every single week. When Rob still is in every video after that I'm on a break video. That was kind of true for a bit, Dan, wasn't it?
I guess these are really funny. I don't know.
Yeah. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? All right.
Are you
What
guys
about this one?
gaslighting me? Because I see it now
No!
in the live stream thing. Okay,
There
so
we
I
go.
have to look in the other monitor. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
When
You
you're
can read it.
live,
Thank you, Sean.
but have to go to the bathroom. Story of my life.
Dan.
When you think so hard, you forgot what you're thinking.
That's just me all of the time. When you walk in on your sibling and they smile back, I just found that one really funny for some weird, bizarre reason. I don't know if this is personal experience, Sean, from a creator, but if you could read out this one for us, please.
When you forget to put the turkey in the freezer after your mom told you and you have just been editing videos.
I think
It
that
melts. Yeah.
Man.
And mom is mad. All right.
When a creator actually asks for specific advice in regards to their niche and the nuances that plague them, but you can only provide them with generic YouTube information. Exit stage left.
Yep, that's us pretty much every single week. This was almost my favorite. This was almost a winner. Every hyped YouTuber for the new shorts monetization after seeing their shorts RPM. That is so accurate. Yes, thank you very much. And we'll do one more, Sean, and this is it.
When the percentages of your poll add up to 101%.
That has happened to us on several occasions. I don't know how it's possible, YouTube, but there we go. All right, so those are some of the entrants. They're pretty good. It's not all of them. We do have a winner, and we'll get back to it on very, very soon. But now, Dan, we'll go to about something you can see on screen, which is the Hack Build Restore channel. Looks like they are very new to YouTube. They have just 10 videos. They have 12 subscribers. What are we looking at here, given these very colorful and very wordy thumbnails?
Yeah, so I saw this channel and thought, okay, this is again another example of somebody who has like a very technical skill, and they've decided to go ahead and put that on YouTube, which I would encourage anybody to do. But again, it's kind of back to that advice of like, okay, now it's time to sit down and figure out who these videos are for individually. So I'm seeing some things getting repaired that are kind of specific, or at least being pointed out that they're kind of specific. Like a joystick, repaired a joystick and built an adapter for the BBC Micro. So I kind of wonder if this is for people who have a BBC Micro, I guess. I'm not familiar with this brand.
These are very old computers, going back to the 1980s. These were computers they had in the UK in schools, from what I remember. So very, very niche.
Yeah, very niche. So not only are you making videos for people who have this thing and know what it is, but you're also making it for them who in the moment need to fix it, right? If this is a tutorial on how to fix it,
Yeah.
then it niches down even more, because now we're depending on them to be in a position where they need to fix this thing. So one thing you could do in the situation is come at it from that storytelling angle that we were kind of discussing before. Oh, okay. We're pulling up some.
I was just seeing if there was a market for the BBC Micro. I knew Tom Scott was going to come up in this, but even one of his videos has 22,000 views, and his videos
Right.
tend to get hundreds of thousands, millions. So we have one video here with 350,000 views, but generally speaking, the audience isn't huge for this topic to begin with.
Those videos to me seem like videos where they're just explaining what the heck it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And coming at it from that historic perspective, the fascination behind like, this is a thing that people used to have and it did this function. So this channel is doing more specific things, like I'm going to teach you how to fix it. So I'm not surprised by the low views, because the value is probably there, but it's for such a specific person. So if you have access to old tech like that, you should kind of maybe change your approach depending on what your goals are, of course. Maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you're going to build a whole library where you fix very specific old niche parts. And one day your whole channel, across your whole channel, you have hundreds of thousands of views because you'll have built up this catalog of content. And that's, again, it's all comes down to your goals. If that's what you want to do, you're going to be in a good place a while from now.
The one thumbnail I just want to pick out here was this thumbnail here. Already we have like the logo on the left-hand side. I'm not sure how useful that is, but this is where I think, again, the creators tried to be a bit too clever in their thumbnail, because the pig here has absolutely no relevance or understanding to me as a layman to this thumbnail. And it probably makes sense. Maybe this enables you to create a 3D polygon image of a pig on a 1980s computer, which would be really impressive. But how all of this relates to this in a thumbnail, I get lost. And so I think this is where you just have to really drill down to basics and think, what is the instinctive connection I can make with the viewer as they're scrolling through a feed? And a computer, a keyboard, whatever this, it looks like a Batman utility belt to me. Maybe that's a hard drive, and a pig. There's so much disconnect here. I don't know how I'll be able to join all of the dots in the 1.5 seconds I might be looking at this thumbnail. Again, I'll give the final words to Sean, and we'll move on to the next channel.
Yeah, I think if possible, I'm not the biggest fan of the Hacks Restored little branding in every thumbnail. It's just you're trying to put so much in there, right? And I am a big fan, though. I don't know about this. Y'all knew about this, but I do think that going deep in the niches, there's some radio channels that are doing, there's all kind of channels, but like classic radio channels. My wife's dad loves ham radios and things like that. And so sometimes just persistence in this world. And then back to the storytelling piece is I do think how trying to think a little bit of broad appeal is a huge phrase. I think that's strategic for everybody listening right now. Your goal is not to try to just attract people who would never be interested in your channel, but your goal is to think about how can I broaden this audience to create interest. And so with storytelling, if you're comparing maybe new to old, like imagine a video title like this computer from the 1990s beat this MacBook Pro.
Yes.
And that actually could be a 10 million viewed video because the way it'd be framed. And you know, to be fair, it might be a one-off for 99% of the viewers, but that tapping into that world could be very interesting, because when you've got a hyper-specific niche, thinking about broad appeal and tapping into trends or culture, or, you know, how is AI, could you do AI on, have this run an AI app or something? And so anyways, just different things like that could be a ways to think outside of the box and trigger some channel growth.
You know how some people have managed to get Windows XP on a smartwatch? I almost feel as if it's like the reverse engineering of that. Like you get an incredibly high-end PC game that requires a lot of 3D horsepower, and you get it to work on like a BBC Micro or something like that.
Yes.
That would be a really interesting, cool story, and it's really accessible.
And yeah, and maybe it's like hilarious how bad it is, or you have to run it at 1 frame a second or something. And even the narrative of all of that is fascinating and funny, but it could be very shareable and tapping into the whole Reddit world of people that are into some of these things. And yeah, no, I think is a very cool niche though.
I was just thinking on the last point of branding, Sean. I think just these colors of these fonts of a branding itself. I think if you just had this and remove the left-hand side branding bar, this would be enough of a connection with the audience from one video to the next that they know it's from the Hack Build Restore channel. So something maybe, I mean, this is a bit of a personal test, but I think generally as educators, we tend to suggest to viewers, creators, that if you need a branding logo on your thumbnail, then the branding of the channel as a whole isn't strong enough. And maybe that's what you need to think about going forward.
One thing I've thought about for a couple of our channel reviews is like tip of the day is underneath your channel name, underneath your channel handle, YouTube has now put the first line of your about page. And the channels we've been looking at, I forgot to mention it earlier, have mostly had just a thought start that's cut off, that's not clear, because it's you assume you have all the about page. So best practice, vidIQ family, you're watching this right now, you're listening on the replay, is create a concise tagline, just like you'd write a title that has enough of a complete thought before it gets cut off. I don't know how many characters we actually have there, Rob. Do you know the exact number?
I think you're probably looking at between 80 and 100 there, it looks to me like.
Welcome back to Hack Build Restore. We are dedicated to providing you with, so you're like, it kind of has that, it's sort of jargony because you assume you have a whole paragraph. We are dedicated to, so it'd be sort of like, you know, restoring your passion for classic PC components. It's not good, but something, you know, something. And so then you lead off, and what's, I love this kind of stuff because your sentence there is not going to be the key to your YouTube success. However, I argue it kind of could be, because clarity really is power. The clearer you get in your vision, the more time you spend refining your branding and thinking, doing the hard work of articulating the value of your YouTube channel for a target audience, it becomes a guiding North Star for you. It becomes, so doing the work of it, it's not like that sentence has like search power that all of a sudden starts triggering growth. It's the idea that you do the hard work of actually thinking through your branding, your messaging, your ideal audience, the people who the channel is perfect for. And in that act of crafting that sentence, and even essentially kind of like self-discovery, that clarity, I believe, can then lead to great growth, because it shifts perhaps your strategy in the videos that come out and all of the above.
Let's put Sean under extreme pressure with no way to fix this by going to his tagline.
Thank you. Hey, you're right. Listen, I apologize in advance.
Thanks for checking out Think Media on YouTube.
Hey, a little gratitude shared though. Think Media. Thanks for checking out Think Media. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm guilty.
Here's an example of what we've done. We help YouTubers get more views, more subscribers, and get monetize. It's still it's a complete enough thought. It's not bad. It's not bad. But Sean, I completely agree with you. Like, I've been said this in a recent video. If you have like that opening line on your about section, then you can refer back to that line every time you start a video and ask yourself, is this content going to relate back to the proposition I'm presenting to my audience, and does it deliver? Now, I think we all already know this, but we've just haven't had time to update our channel pages because these things just drop and YouTube doesn't update us. But as you say, I think you used a brilliant term there, the guiding star, your North Star. That's what you should always be looking towards. Before you do anything else, the idea, does it connect with a value proposition or your North Star? And then you can look at the title, the thumbnail, and so on and so forth. All I would say is I'm on your live stream in about a week, Sean, so you can do exactly the same thing to me and pick.
Yes. Well, yours is good. Something. We help too. I mean, we help. It's a good. I encourage viewers to take this for themselves, especially education channels. We help who do what, and the ultimate framework is like I help real estate agents increase their income in less time. So if you can actually help people do something positive and then remove pain, especially for education channels, is kind of the model. Who exactly do you help? What do you help them achieve? And what could you remove or maybe add emotion to it? It's like, I help you grow a channel in a fun way, or like with joy in the process, or enjoying the journey. Or I help time-starved moms start side businesses during nap time. You know the audience, you kind of know what the goal is, and then that's your guiding principle. It needs to be concise. It's, you know, exactly who you're talking to. And so, yeah.
You don't know how hard that is to just come up with like those ideas and propositions like in 10, 15 seconds shots. I do applaud you for doing that. Like, I'm terrible at. I was thinking of something for the electrician guy, by the way, when we're talking about the channel. All I could think of was helping you not electrocute yourself. But I didn't want to say that as a value proposition because it needed more thought. It needed more thought.
Well, and that's and this the final thought there is also kind of a B2B or B2C. So for education channels, B2B would be if you were helping other electricians. There are other electricians, they have a B2B means business to business, right? Now B2C might be, because maybe I'm not going to electrocute myself because I'm not going to do those projects. I'm going to hire an electrician. But like showing you the crazy world, the crazy behind the scenes world of an electrician's life. That'd be more B2C, just the viewer getting to see inside of the world. You're watching HGTV, you probably aren't going to go homesteading, but you could watch this community do homesteading. You aren't going to have your big weird life or whatever on whatever show that would be, My Odd and Bizarre Life or something, but you're interested in viewing in that. So it's kind of an entertainment. Anyways, back to you.
The music is playing, which can only mean one thing. We've now got some super chats in, and we're going to tackle a few of them right now. Dan, so maybe we just bring up one super chat at a time. I'll do one, you do one. Dan's just jumped straight in there. So what have we got first of all? And of course, you do get your screen change and everything. Dan, what have we got here?
This one came in really early, so we're just going to do them in the order they've come in so far. Hopefully we haven't missed any. Are punishments such as getting tased for milestones beneficial for channel growth? So what they're trying to, I get what they're saying here. They're trying to get the audience to subscribe, and then they'll tase themselves or whatever it might be. They're going to put themselves through misery to get subscribers.
Oh, okay.
One, I don't condone people tasing themselves. I think that's dangerous, and I don't care if it helps with channel growth. It might not help with, just continuing on in life in general. So that's going to kind of halt all growth.
Yeah. I think that's 100% against community guidelines as well. Self-harm and policy, I think, is in there. So do not do that.
Yeah, but using that as just a funny example, I think your focus should be on bringing value to an audience, and you can do things to try and get people to subscribe. Like, if we reach this milestone, this will happen. And it might help a little bit, but at the end of the day, video by video, or short by short, or live stream by live stream, what are you doing that is bringing in new people? That's all it is. It's how do you get some new people to watch you? And that's about, okay, well, who am I trying to target with my content and all that stuff? It's all the same advice. There's no hack here where it's like, well, I'll put myself through something crazy and that'll get subscribers. it's kind of like doing a giveaway. Like you're going to get subscribers for that one video, that one moment, and they're never going to come back because once you do the thing, they're like, got it. Okay, cool. And now you have a bunch of subscribers and no views. Doesn't really help you.
Midnight's Code Band is apparently Batman. So what I would like you to do is go to one of their videos, everyone who's watching this live stream after it's finished, and just ask in the comments, are you Bruce Wayne? ? And then we'll out him on YouTube. Next one, Dan.
All right. Can you make a video how to gain subscribers if you have an educational religious channel? So a very, very specific video.
I think, Sean, you may be able to contribute to this because you recently did a podcast on how Christian channels can grow on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that there's the creator who understands the viewer best wins. So the principles and the fundamentals of best practice of YouTube are the same, a little bit different for entertainment or education. You've already clarified education, but now you're talking about religious. I think the tip would be thinking about who is it for? Is it educating people who are already a part of that religion and going deeper? That's helping like insiders go deeper. Is it meant to let people who don't know about the religion learn about it? And this is why it's so important to understand like who your target audience is. Kind of, is it beginners or advanced? And if you're trying to reach multiple different people, it may end up not hitting as much. But what I would encourage you is make sure you're subscribed to vidIQ. I'm sure you are. And, you know, just go deep on learning the best practices of what I mean when I say the creator who understands the viewer best wins is what videos do they want to click on? What topics are they interested? What questions are on their mind? What are they really thinking about for everybody watching? That's the principle that's going to help you. I think topic is such a massive opportunity. That's another reason why I love vidIQ too. Do your research in going and getting to understand particular audiences. You could use the keyword research tool. You can use the daily ideas tool as it looks at your channel. You can use daily ideas even with a brand new channel. You can start typing in and really getting familiar what kind of content is performing in regards to a religious channel. What other channels are out there? What can you learn from them and put your unique spin on it? So yeah, there's a few thoughts.
The next one comes from AnR Gaming, who has sent in multiple super chats. So we'll just say thank you for the winky face, and then we'll move on to the next one, Dan, which I think may be one you can tackle.
Thoughts on having gaming in the channel name? I don't see that as a positive or a negative. I think plenty of channels do that and have success. Plenty of channels do that, are still grinding it out. I don't think it's of high impact. I think having an original name, though, that people can remember, easy to type, all that stuff's important. But yeah, I don't think it's high impact.
The two things I would think about here are, if you include gaming, then you're turning it into a bit of a generic channel name, because there's lots of other channels that include gaming. But also, I think that your channel name should be 5 syllables or less, because then it's easy to remember and probably easy to spell. And so if you have gaming in your channel name, then you've already used up 2 of those. My brain's gone blank.
Syllables.
Syllables, thank you. So yeah, interesting question there. AnR Gaming. So you do currently have it in your channel name. We do have another one from NRD Gaming. So everybody's got gaming in their channel name at the moment. Wow. Now that's a trio. Thank you guys for all the great info. Really helps. Sean, see you on the 1K challenge. What is the 1K challenge, Sean?
Oh, actually, that's happening this week.
Oh.
So we're doing 3 days. It's a free event at Learn Video 2023. And it is 5 sessions, and it's all about how to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers, all about what's happening on YouTube right now. We've been doing a ton of tests lately on Think Media. You know, it's wild about what's been happening on Think Media. We're up 375% in views.
Nice.
We just got 17 million views in this last 28 days, which is pretty wild. And so we're excited to share the latest stuff we're learning. We have some special guests coming and teaching. And so Learn Video 2023. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's free. It's called the Tube 1K Challenge. I highly recommend it.
17 million views. The only question I asked Sean is, I don't, you know, I know I'm digging under the surface of that number. Is how many of them were shorts? Just, I'm curious to know, or was it a lot of organic long form content as well?
The majority, Rob, now that you ask, which probably doesn't surprise you. And they shorts was 17.4. Sorry. In the last 28 days, just shorts gave us 17.4 million.
Wow.
Views.
Well, oh my goodness.
And so 21.7 million in the last 28 days.
Holy
so the
smokes.
delta there is about 4 million.
Yeah.
We are at about 4 million views a month, which this is a topic that we can't go into. I'm going to be doing a video later with probably 23 lessons I've learned about shorts.
Mhm.
And 4 million views a month for Think Media has been incredibly stable. It's a lot of watch time. It's educational long form. We do very well in AdSense, ad revenue. And so in a way, I've been thinking about shorts. They're kind of like empty calories and they're amazing. The subscribers that come in from that minute of views is smaller, but it's quite a few if you're getting 17 million views. How quality are those subscribers? These are all the kind of questions I'm asking. Is it even messing up our channel in a way, like perhaps like age demographic and all these different things? So it's a very interesting, but if you're into, if you're addicted to dopamine like me and you're into just seeing your channel grow with vanity metrics, it's the greatest month of my life. Like we should, I mean, think about that. It's ridiculous. From 4 million views, it's literally 4x growth on the entire channel. But I actually am staying very baseline about it. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, just a couple of shorts broke out, and what does that really mean? That's the question to ask.
And perhaps the most important question on everybody's lips is, how much did you earn from those YouTube shorts?
Like almost nothing. I mean, if you want to know the numbers, and forgive
You
me,
don't have to.
no, I'll tell you the numbers. It's something for sure. And I keep in mind, I literally have a staff these days. So it's like, but shorts in the last 28 days was $895.75.
From 17 million views. 17
million views, paid $900. Where on the flip side, we made over $28,000 on long form.
Goodness.
On the small. So it is. And let's put it this way, RPM, right? How much we get paid for 1,000 views on our current channel. RPM across the last 28 days on Think Media is $7.36. Shorts is 6 cents.
That's better than us. I think we're at 3.
Yeah. So anyways, very, very interesting journey. But yeah, excited to talk. It's an exciting time at YouTube right now. And on a macro, I think embracing these different video podcasting, YouTube podcasts, a bunch of stuff, YouTube long form, live streaming, like it's happening right now, and shorts. YouTube, I believe, is one of the product managers of Google was saying YouTube is actually their goal is to make it the only platform that could be viewed on every screen, on every device, with multiple content formats, with multiple ways for creators to earn money. So it's exciting times on YouTube, and that's kind of what the YouTube 1K challenge is all about.
All right, then. We're going to have to motor through some of these super chats now, try and get back on time. AnR Gaming, again, thank you for the third super chat here. Started a niche content channel with success. But the thing is, I have about 500 to 800 views in the first day and about 50 to 60 views a day afterwards. How to fix? Any quick thoughts there?
It doesn't sound broken to me. I think if you're doing that, it means you're kind of building an audience, right? And you have a bunch of people who are excited when you upload a new video. And so YouTube pushes it to them, they watch it. And then from there, the trickle happens and you just start getting views from some of those new viewers and things like that. That's very common. I think there is a way to build it so that there's an initial surge and then it kind of starts to take off even more because it hits a lot of new viewers, but that just comes down to experimenting and, you know, knowing who you're trying to reach with your content. And it's practice, it's time, it's all those things.
All right, I'm going to blast through these next super chats. Midnight's code banned. Again, $2. The Legend of Spyro. I have no idea.
That was from Gaming Corner.
Okay, thank you. Love it. Oh, I understand now. Kevin Quayle, £5. Thank you. No message there, but we appreciate the £5. And also another channel with gamer in their channel name. Bad Gamer, Good Bird. I am loving the vidIQ app. Great work as always. Yes. we are not just a auditing service every week for 2 hours, but we have a plethora of more and more AI enhanced tools. So do make sure to download vidIQ. There's a link in the description. And also, I mean, you don't have to, but there is something on screen now, which I don't know whether you'd want to do something with that. Dan, oof, I don't know what that is.
Don't scan random QR codes.
It's there. It's just there. And 9-finger wrenching. What an unusual channel name that is. Thanks, Rob, Dan, and Sean. I've learned so much since November. 361 subscribers, 1060 watch hours, and 18,000 plus views. I want to improve my 2080 50 actionable SEO on vidIQ, ? Okay, my answer to that is do not worry or care about that number.
Yep.
It's a legacy calculator in vidIQ, and we are working to make that more accurate and better for 2023. Anytime you are about to invest in the SEO on your channel in terms of video tags and description, plow it all into your thumbnails and your titles. I guarantee you will get more views than trying to get a 50 out of 50 SEO score on vidIQ. I know, I appreciate it. It's been on vidIQ for a long time. It's something we're working on to improve, to give you a better experience with that tool. As I say, AI stuff is coming. Keep an eye on it. I think we will call it a day there for Super Chats now and get back to some channel auditing. We are going to look at next. Let me just check where we are. We're going to look at the Aqua Cat with just over 1,000 subscribers after 30 videos. Dan, I'm seeing some gaming elements here. So why don't you start us off while I kill this music?
So congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Looks like that happened really recently. You have like a video celebrating it. Really cool. So that's awesome. The value proposition of I do stuff is something we would probably tell you to like elaborate on a little bit more. Just in general, you know, what kind of stuff do you do? Who's your content for? We talked a little bit about that tagline underneath your channel. They don't have one, so their about section doesn't have anything in it currently.
It does.
Okay.
It just has a blank line, I presume.
Mostly things with props and cosplay. Okay. All right. Cool. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. So maybe they're just kind of playing into like the meme of it all, right? Just not taking it super seriously. Looking at the videos here, if you scroll down to the bottom, like they have 1,000 subscribers, but no video has reached 1,000 views.
Yeah.
What about shorts?
Shorts.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some big views there.
So this is more, I would say, of a shorts channel than anything else, which is
And also, if you look at these, Dan, I know they're not thumbnails, but you get a much clearer idea of what the channel's about, which is, I guess, 3D printed Friday.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Whereas you go to the long form content, and I'm getting a mix of animation and then some more of his 3D printed stuff. So I'm sensing the same topic, but very different approaches to the trend or the theme.
If you look at the thumbnails, quote unquote, for the shorts, it's already way more clear as to what's going on, like because it looks like 3D printed art, you know, and that's where the thumbnails on the main videos are the long form videos are lacking, because they've overdone them. They've put too much color and too much things going on, but like it's very clear, like just the pictures you're seeing on the shorts, as to like what we're gonna get. And so I think if you're going to do long form videos, try not to overproduce these thumbnails. There's, you know, especially the one that says 3D printed, like it looks like the video game, which is probably, I know that's what you're going for, but I'm not saying that as a compliment. I'm saying that like, it looks like just a gameplay video. It doesn't look like a 3D printed, like a 3D printing video. And yet it is.
We have some animation in here as well.
Yeah. So that's just like, again, all about communicating that clear message with your titles and thumbnails. Sometimes a simple thumbnail is all you need, you know, and I feel like they kind of went all out with that thumbnail. It looks like they put a lot of work into it, but it doesn't necessarily need that to communicate. It's still, well, listen, that's like their best long form video. So I'm not saying that they did a bad job by any means, but I know 3D printer videos can do very well. And I think they could, you know, get even more views if they continue to kind of think about, like, when someone sees this thumbnail for a couple seconds, is it going to communicate what I'm trying to get across?
I would argue that the problem with this thumbnail is that there's too many colors, and it's it's a very flat thumbnail. So everything is in the foreground. You know, these lights here and then the model itself. I don't know if you need to wash out some of the colors or blur the background a little bit. And then they've done like the before and after, almost like the 3D printer model before they paint it. And I think that needed to be a bit clearer in the thumbnail. I'll give Sean a few words on this one, and then we'll move on to the next part of the stream.
Yeah, I think that leaning heavy into shorts, it's, you know, success leaves clues, make part shorts, and if that's what's working, it makes sense. Very shareable as the algorithm understands what it is, starts to kind of tap into you know, suggestions to viewers. And I think that there's an opportunity for very broad appeal with the reach of the content itself. And so and then just echoing what we've said before, I do think storytelling, I think that the idea of how I printed a 3D printed Star-Lord cosplay, the idea would be this, you know. So it's like I set out, you know, so I wanted to create a cosplay Star-Lord, but then a crow flew into my house and delivered me a message. And you know, and so as I opened up the scroll, it began to tell me, and you maybe share some like lore from Guardians of the Galaxy or something, and you're like, but I had to get back to the mission. And so I started, so just thinking that great job at stepping out to tap into animation and tap into editing and tap into 3D printing. It looks really cool. It looks like you have some incredible stuff. I think that tapping into storytelling. And my question for you, Rob, was, is it just music, or is there narration happening over it?
Let me check. There is narration. And if you're just looking at the editing quality here, I think it's of a high quality as well. It's very loud for me. Just one second. And then they bring in the animation as well. And I'm just wondering if this is a bit of a disruption, or so it's like the editing is really cool here. And then I go back to the animated cat, and I'm not sure what the connection is there.
That is supposed to be like their persona.
Yeah,
the animated cat.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I love that. So if you're narrating, this is what's fascinating, is where a lot of creators maybe underestimate how much we should develop our writing skills, that like writing itself, and that sitting down and writing, and what you very well could be doing, that essentially voiceover script, and think. And when you sit down and write and take the time to write and rewrite, and this is a delicate thing to do, because it's not being you and being your own personality is your superpower, not trying to be somebody else. But I oftentimes might look over the script and think, can I interject humor? Can I be a little bit more clever? Could this be a little bit more punchy? So you not only do you get all your ideas down on paper or a digital Google Doc or Evernote, but then you kind of go back through, and that writing then powers up. It becomes the A roll and the story of what people are seeing visually through all of that. So massive respect for the content you're creating, and crossing 1,000 subs and everything you've built so far. I'm guessing you are, from seeing you in the video and stuff, you're pretty young. And that's really awesome, because with everything you've already created and published, like if you just keep leveling up, I think that you can do some pretty incredible things, and you'll keep seeing channel growth.
Yeah, incredibly talented from the 3D printing, and just the work they put into the video as well was fantastic. But we need to wrap up. Dan, can you see this GIF now? Is it appearing? Yeah. Okay, good. Right. So we need to wrap up this competition, whereby we were reading out some of the best entrants for this GIF in the community tab. So I'll probably do one again next week. So I will read out the first one, and then we'll pass it on to Dan and Sean to read out some more. So when someone gives you a $500 super chat for an audit, but your rules say super chats won't get someone an audit. Yes. We get super chats asking how do we get audits, which is funny in itself. Sean, do you want to read out this one?
When someone calls you by your YouTube channel name,
We
that's
have
funny,
had that
actually.
happen. Yeah, like hey, it's VidIQ. Hey,
Yeah,
VidIQ,
people
over
come in.
here.
Oh, hey, Think Media. Hey, oh, hey,
Yeah.
Think Media. I've had it happen at the airport and stuff. Like, hey, are you Think Media? I'm like, I am. We are.
Dan, I'll give you this one because I need to do the one after this.
When you completed monetization requirements and saw create AdSense account.
For some people, this is a real problem whereby I don't know, AdSense can be like a terrifying thing to do, or like they already have 17 AdSense accounts and they try and connect another one, it just all fails. Now, this one, I'm not going to lie, sorry, we had to do at least one toilet humor, but just look at the GIF and then what I'm saying. Oh, it wasn't a fart.
Was it a
I'm
shark?
hearing tumbleweed. I'm hearing tumbleweed. That's why it wasn't the winner. Sean, what about this one?
10 million views in 90 days.
Dan, there's not many left. I do promise.
My intro music is extremely loud again.
I think that's referencing the last couple of weeks where the intro music to when I've done the live stream, it's been far too loud, so nobody's been able to hear what I'm actually saying as I intro it. So that is accurate. Sean, I'll give you this one, and then we're going to do the winner.
AI. I can't tell because the pensive face seems like it'd be calm, but 3 exclamation marks are like AI.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified of AI. I think in 12 months' time, I know it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I think in 12 months' time, a AI version of me will be hosting this live stream.
Yeah.
It's just whether I'm going to get paid the royalties for hosting a live stream or not. Who knows?
That's actually incredibly optimistic because you are assuming that mankind is still alive. And so that is the AI version of you hosting the show is like the most best part of it. Unless you're like, no, the reason an AI version is hosting the show is AI is taking over all of us. The only thing that exists is the digital world, and humans have been subjected to hide beneath the earth because the sky got scorched.
So is it just going to be AI YouTube bots watching an AI channel audit AI created?
They're all going to get banned for view botting, though.
Yeah, that I can't work my head out there. All right, the winner, and this is going to be a little inside baseball here, but it comes from Candy Soul and Soil, who said, "Just where did I put that P?" And that's a reference to one of our videos where we said, big creators still make these mistakes, and I equated your channel to be a tiny P that I put on this shelf in the background, as you can see. And then I moved the P around the shelf so that people had to comment and try and find it. And it's one of our most successful videos. And it was just trying to reference that your channel is the size of a P. So it's hard to find. But when you find it, it's got to have real value for the audience. So that's why this creator won the competition. So thank you for all of those amazing entrants. Whether we'll spend half an hour reading them all out again next week, I don't know. That took a long time to do. But here is a channel that we're going to audit. Candy Soul and Soil with 3,000 subscribers, and from the channel banner, I'm not sure what the channel's about. I'm just seeing I forgot what they're called now. They're not
Dandelions.
Dandelions. Is that dandelions? Yeah.
Or are they called something else and they turn into
I can't remember. But anyway, we're not even sure what they're called on the channel banner. But the channel itself, I think, is about spirituality and maybe tarot card readings and exploration of spiritual books. That's a vibe I'm getting. And with view counts in the several hundreds, sometimes thousands, there's promising stuff going on here. Dan, your first thoughts, and then we'll throw it over to Sean.
I've seen plenty of thumbnails where it's a picture and they kind of put the text dead center. And so I'm not going to say that's like a bad thing to do. However, some of these are really hard to read because of the color choices and how many words are on the thumbnail. The 2 latest thumbnails being a great example. We can't, and that one too, with the really thin font.
Yeah.
We can't really tell what's being said or what's going on. And then the other thing, because of that, we have to rely on the title to understand what's going on in the video. But the title of the latest video is More Indie Decks. So what you're doing with a title like that, in my opinion, is catering to the people who already have found you.
Correct.
More Indie Decks sounds like a continuation of a story that happened last week or something. and I'm not going to know what it means if I'm not already subscribed, if I'm not already a viewer. And we always like to make sure that you're making videos that not only appeal to your current audience, but help new viewers come in as well. And you have videos like that. Like there's one with over 1,000 views, the pile of decks for spring reading, like got a lot of views, obviously like catering to a wider audience. So be thinking about that as you post videos. What can I do to make sure that new viewers understand what's going on as well as my current audience?
Sean?
Hit popular.
I should have said that. It's a really good idea.
Interesting. Irreplaceable being the most viewed video as a one-word title. Irreplaceable decks. 48 minutes. Okay, a lot of the most viewed videos. That's interesting that it does kind of give not just a tip here, but an interesting tip for the general viewers. And I actually reheard Mr. Beast quote this recently. He said, like, when all else fails, make videos long because average view duration is more important than average percentage viewed. Time on platform matters most, minutes matter most. And so 40-minute videos, if like back to me watching StarCraft 2, if the audience is interested in hanging out, even if the curve, you know, like some people are like, oh, it's so long, but the super fans, the people like, and if you could get those average view duration, this is a consistent thing that happens on my live streams. I a lot of times will go live for 35, 45 or an hour and 15 minutes and only get an average view duration of 12 minutes or 16 minutes. That's insane. Average people are watching for over 10 minutes. You know, how many YouTube shorts would it take to get that much, you know, I suppose 10, 60-second shorts watching until the end, and or 50 shorts all being fully consumed. So anyways, that's interesting. And yeah, I think simplicity on the thumbnails, on the text definitely disappears. What can you learn from some of the top viewed videos? And there's, I think, over 600 videos. 426. And yeah. We also thinking about that sentence too, where card slinging artist, gardener, and special needs mama with hands in the, and then it gets cut off. So I think being thoughtful, soil, and feet in the ocean. So I think summarizing that down, maybe, because what do we have? We have creativity, art practice, studio vlogs, passion for tarot, ways to explore everyday magic, a building of magic garden. So a lot of different things. And to me, actually, a lot of that seems similar and kind of branded together. But I think that one of the, just all of us, when we spend these valuable sessions together brainstorming, we just think about how can we maybe consolidate and clarify our messaging on what we're after. Yeah.
I think, Dan, I loved what you said about the thumbnails and the titles pitch very much to those who've already encountered the channel. And it should almost be like the complete opposite approach to try and reach a broader, more accessible audience with the thumbnails and titles, because as long as the branding's in place, your regular viewers are going to click on the videos and watch them.
Yeah.
Kind of a little regardless of what's in the title and the thumbnail. So it's potentially like a bit of a wasted opportunity here. I was trying to ascertain how they've got 3,000 subscribers when their most viewed video is 3,500, but then they've got 280,000 views. So I was trying to work out where. You see, yeah, they haven't done that many shorts and not many views. So I was wondering,
could be some legacy content that got removed from the channel.
Could be. And finally, as well, I think the channel banner could do with just an update there to be more reflective of the channel. But that is Candy, Soul, and Soil, the winner of this week's caption competition. But now it's time for a bit of this. Still fixing the machine. Just bear with me 1 second. All right. So we're into random channel selections. And how this works is that you've been submitting your channels. We have 477 non-gaming channels and 372 gaming channels. It used to be like a perfect balance of non-gaming and gaming, but I don't know, maybe Dan, in your absence, the gaming channels have been absent a little bit. So hopefully
my advice is so good that they've retired from
Ah.
needing to submit.
You are correct. You are correct. So what we're going to do is we are going to, if I can find the right sound effects, there it is, pick out a number, and we take that number and we put it in here. And we are now auditing channels which we have not seen before. Here we go. Ozzy Encounters, 350 subscribers. My first impression is, because they're from Australia and there's kind of this desert or rocky vibe with the orange tundra of the landscape, they've decided they want to use that color in their thumbnails as a font. And I don't think it works that well, at least in some of these. Blue on orange is good, but in some of these, the font kind of just melts into the thumbnail a little bit. But I'm getting a bit distracted by that. So presumably they're doing lots of traveling around Australia, or maybe like an RV van life, perhaps.
Looks like they're pulling. They've got that cool SUV, and then they're pulling.
Okay.
An RV trailer.
Yeah.
They are. I like that they're branded. I like that they have orange polos. and it appears like maybe the logo of what it is they're doing. And I do like, it feels consistent. Like, I feel like they're branding, but probably their thoughtfulness all the way to the polos themselves as well. It does feel consistent. Like, the theme of the channel feels consistent. It has a look to it, which I do think there's something to learn there.
Now, as I just quickly scroll through the titles, what I'm finding is I think that they have two distinct types of content, which is the travel experience, so perhaps telling a story about where they've been, and then also tips and guidance on how to live their life. So 15 tips help you when you're road tripping. And I think those videos clearly get significantly more views than when they're just on a journey. So the way to try and cover that up a little bit is to still pitch the title and the thumbnail as something that a like-minded viewer is going to learn about traveling, but then you can also fit your stories of adventure within those videos as well, because they're very long, like 35 minutes, 24 minutes, 50 minutes. I think there's still that opportunity for travel and adventure, but it feels like the educational side of the thumbnails and titles works a bit more effectively.
I think there's that fascination. There's a lot of people who watch these channels, myself included, who are just fascinated by people living on the road. And I think the ones that are doing the best speak to that. They speak to tips for living on the road and different things you've done that all relate back to what it's like living on the road. I think you could do both in both video. In one video, you could do both things. You could go somewhere cool, but treat that secondary to some tips and tricks or cool things that you have or whatever it might be, because I might not watch when it just looks like a video about a place I've never heard of. But if I know that there's going to be some other value in that video, like, oh, and like they're going to show me some cool new thing that they have, you know, and you kind of make that the focus of the video. Like, we got this thing for our trailer, we're putting it to use today. While we're on the way to, you know, the whatever peninsula or whatever it might be. It would be kind of hard. You can't do it with every video, but I think if you can continue to bridge that gap between, you know, hey, van life fans and hey, Australia fans, that you might see more consistent viewership.
Sean, I'll ask you for your 60-second thought, because I do want to try and audit as many random channels as I can, and we'll move on.
Yep, I would just say, when possible, try to do less words in your thumbnail than more. Try to keep it under 3, and a lot of times you're going over 3.
Yep.
Try to create more of a flow to the titles, just more readable. We're on popular, so yeah, how can you double down on some of these videos? I really do like 15 tips to help you when road tripping in Australia. I'm going to be your guy to tell you to find those use case utility videos. And in this case, I do think mixing those is okay, because let's think about this. what videos can I create that could help me get discovered by new people that may be interested in subscribing and being a part of the journey? That becomes an opportunity to get people in your world. What can happen is those might get a lot of views, but not everybody converts to being a super fan, but that should be expected. Think about how much content we're exposed to versus how many people we go deep with. The goal is how many people can we increase the number we get exposed to so that there's those true fans that end up sticking around. And then are we doing shorts?
Not yet. Just a couple of experimentations.
We do YouTube shorts. I think leaning into them is definitely an opportunity. And you're already filming so much, so why not embrace shorts?
All right. Next, we'll do a gaming channel. And again, we'll try and keep this down relatively short just so we can get through quite a few channels if we can. This channel does have gaming in their channel name, called Sample Gaming. 50 subscribers. And they look as if they're doing hand-drawn Microsoft Paint thumbnails.
There's not a lot of channels that do hand-drawn thumbnails. Whenever we find one, I'll say two things. One, they look really cool. And two, it's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Because not only is it a ton of work, but it suddenly doesn't resemble the very popular game that you're playing on your channel. It looks like an art channel, which is, again, not a bad thing, but it caters to a different audience. If you're playing Portal and the value proposition is come watch me play Portal or come learn tips and tricks or glitches in Portal, and you're hand drawing that thumbnail, you're taking away that visual reminder. Someone's only going to see this for a couple seconds. They're going to keep scrolling. So if you want them to stop scrolling, it needs to look familiar to them. And hand-drawn thumbnails, 9 times out of 10, don't have that familiarity. And if they do, like I would say the second thumbnail on the screen right now, Portal 2 Part 6, like I recognize that little robot and it pops up nice and clear. But again, it feels like a drawing video. It doesn't feel like a Portal video. So that's going to be a huge thing to correct.
So I think we admire the fact that they're putting a lot of time and effort into their thumbnails. And objectively speaking, the thumbnails aren't bad. But as you say, this screams animation. And it's not. It's as I mouse over it, this is playing the game itself.
Yes.
And so they should transfer some of that thumbnail designing technique to the titles because the titles are terrible.
Yes. And it's not the only thing going on with this channel. You're playing a game that is very, very old now. Hasn't had a new update. Nothing interesting has happened in like the, Portal universe for a while. So you're going to struggle there too. These videos are very long. They are generic Let's Plays, and you've been doing this for quite a while. So even if you go back and change the thumbnails to something that's more recognizable, you still have to struggle with the fact that Portal is just not at the top of its popularity right now, and that will continue to hinder you.
Indeed, indeed. So I think it's relatively clear and straightforward what the creator should tackle there. The next one is Football Fundamental. And this channel has just cracked 1,000 subscribers. So first of all, congratulations on at least one part of the monetization puzzle complete. And then we are looking at a channel that does, for you Americans out there, a soccer-based channel of techniques on how to do things that the famous footballers do. And I'm curious. So they're using the thumbnails from major stars, but then their actual videos are them speaking to camera, maybe showing a bit of technique, striking a ball. So what I think this creator's done well is that they've put their best foot forward in terms of really strong thumbnails, and the titles seem to be pretty effective as well. And they're hopefully going to up their production quality a little bit in future content. Again, Sean, some quick thoughts from you.
What I love about the thumbnails is the darkening of the background. So I think that the design principles applied on these thumbnails really help to focus your attention, which if possible, you're using Canva or Photoshop, you separate your subject from the background, and then you're just going to take your brightness contrast down in the background or put like a black layer on there and then put some transparency so as to make the thumbnails really pop. And then you add on this kind of lime green, lime yellow text. And where I'm typically not into kind of the hand drawn, I think it works perfectly here because it's simple and clear enough. The arrows are great. The really, really good thumbnails and a lot to learn from those. I think that just one thing that's also top of mind, I don't know if it would attract the right audience, but again, more broad appeal. You see, you're tapping into influential soccer players. I wonder if you could do some interesting things from Ted Lasso that kind of ties in. And Ted Lasso's new season just dropped. And so, you know, myths even, and it just gets people who are potentially into it. That then again, that may not attract the right audience. But that's a thought. I do your brand. I love your logo and that you have a logo. Like, it's really cool. The FF. What are we doing on popular here?
So just a few that have hit a few thousand, but it looks as if we were doing some entertainment stuff during the World Cup, some memes. So I think, Sean, that does allow the creator to maybe look at some Ted Lasso entertainment, fun meme stuff, as well as the recent content, because I thought the recent content was actually quite technical. If I looked at the titles, just the thumbnails and then the titles, that did feel as if they were a bit technical, and maybe there might be a barrier to entry to some of these. Like, I enjoy watching football, but I don't necessarily want to play football because I'm not very good at it and I never will be. So just potentially a distinct audience there. And so more accessible content is perhaps a way forward as well.
Yes, it seems great though. And soccer, football is massive. And so I always, when in business and in marketing, we call it the TAM, TAM, and it stands for the total addressable market. And so if you're watching this and you feel like, you know, there's a lot of people in your niche or things are very crowded, that could be a bad thing if you're like, man, the market's not very big. There's not a lot of people in and there's saturation there. When the market is arguably unlimited, to Dan's point earlier on the gaming channel, if the game is shrinking, and one of the tools to look at that is Google Trends. And so using Google Trends, you could just look ahead to see, is this particular game I'm playing going up in popularity or down in popularity? Many times it goes up and down, but the good news is that if you are in a growing market, you can get wind in your sails, or you can get some propulsion. That's simply because, and so not only does soccer have longevity and staying power, but I think it's just so massive. It's a really good opportunity to just keep posting videos and get 1% better with every upload.
Let's try and do a few more super chats. I will say now, if you do send us another super chat after the ones we're reading out now, it's likely that they won't be covered before the end of the stream. So just bear that in mind. And Dan, I can see that Batman has, that's the wrong one as well. I love the advice. Thank you guys for making such amazing content. Also, thank you, Think Media host in this video. You sound a little like Bruce Campbell. I love it. Have you ever been equated to Bruce Campbell before? Sure.
Was he in Evil Dead? I'm looking him up right now.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I got to look him up, man. He's an American
I hear
actor.
it a little bit. I hear that a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you know he's actually my dad?
Viral boom with the $2. Thank you. I think they realized they must have sent us a $2 super chat and then thought, oh no, I need to actually type something in, because they sent another one that said, I just want everyone to laugh. So thank you. Here's an interesting one from the Goth Farmer. When you hear my channel name, what do you envision? The package and/or here? I don't wear a lot of makeup, and people are saying it's not goth enough.
I'm really glad that they asked this question, because it actually broke my brain. So I kind of thought, so you asked, but even as I thought, the Goth Farmer, it did trigger some curiosity, but you're talking about like the merger of, yeah, that's my initial response. Is it had me go, huh, what's that? I've never heard of that combo before.
I envision that it might be a gaming channel of some kind, in that you are a goth gamer, or you associate with a goth community, but you I don't know, you might play a game like a farm resource intensive game, like, I don't know, what's Farmville for 2023, Dan?
Farm Simulator, Stardew Valley, Yeah,
So that's what I envisaged, but I don't know if I'm accurate at all.
I think if that's the feedback you're getting, you could take that one of two ways. If enough people are saying it, you could go, well, maybe this combo doesn't really fit the theme of my channel, and I should consider renaming. Or if it's just a couple people, just ignore it. You know, if you like the name and you feel like it resonates with you, end of the day, it's memorable. It's not super hard to spell or anything like that. I maintain that channel names are important, and I think, but they're more important from a business aspect than they are from like a YouTube search, not search, YouTube like growth impact. I don't think they are going to make or break necessarily, at least in my experience. But branding later on, as you start to like grow and maybe you want to merchandise or things like that, it could be okay. Imagine what's a Goth Farmer t-shirt look like, you know, and if you're not seeing it come together, maybe that's one of the clues you could, you know, go after for should I change my channel name or not.
All right, and this super chat is from Kelly and Nicole. My channel is marketed towards girls, yet I'm drawing in men because they are clicking on my videos, messing negatively with my retention. Thoughts on this?
Is it negatively messing with your retention? This is very common, actually. Like a lot of channels maybe directed towards women, wanting a women audience, get a lot of men watching. Like it's a common challenge. Is it negatively messing with your retention? I don't know if that would be true. My question would be, is your core content attracting also the right viewers? Forget anybody else who's watching. Is your core audience, is it attracting the right viewers so as to give YouTube feedback signals to suggest and recommend that content to others? If a byproduct of putting out content into the world is that you start attracting somebody that you never meant to attract, but you end up developing this like really fascinated audience that loves the fact that your feet can be seen in the videos, real thing, you know, then you might experience a whole subculture of popularity on your content. But YouTube does feedback loops, right? And so the real goal is if there's a particular type of target audience that consumes your content, YouTube will suggest it to people similar to those people. And if it satisfies them as well, then that would be the growth and expansion of your channel.
Anything to add there, Dan? Or are we good?
I think we're good.
All right. There was one more super chat. I do need to read this out because it's from GazTommo Clash Mini, who says, thanks for the channel review, gents. Appreciate it. Clash Mini is a beta game developed by Supercell. Now, we might be thinking, what on earth do you mean? It's because this channel won a Twitter contest this week, and I haven't audited the channel yet. I completely forgot. So that's why that's the channel we're going to audit right now. I thought it was a channel that was picked by somebody to audit who wasn't able to appear on the audit. So I kind of got mixed up a little bit there, but we're going to audit the channel now. And Dan, we'll start with you as I try and find a button to pause this music. GazTommo Clash Mini, 3,500 subscribers. And I would probably say that one of the reasons that this channel is so successful is that because we're seeing the best thumbnails of this channel audit.
Yeah, these are really high quality. These match what I've seen for the Clash universe when it comes to like people making Clash videos and stuff. Like you're following the trends of the thumbnails in your space, and that's really, really important to do. So, you know, well done there. I also think titles, you know, free trophies with this Barbarian King deck. I'm going to use this channel as an example of what I talked about at the very beginning of the stream. What is the value of your content and who is it for? Well, this person knows that. And so they're not just playing the game, they're explaining things in the game. They're giving you tactics, they're giving you tips, they're giving you things. They're going out of their way to take their understanding of the game and share it with you so you can be better at it, so you can collect the things you're trying to collect, reach the goals you're trying to reach. They're not just doing, hey, chill with me while I play this game. So everything they're doing, I think, is in the right direction when it comes to growing a gaming channel. They're putting in the work. Doing stuff like this is incredibly challenging. You know, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of writing. It takes a lot of study. You're scouring through Wikipedias. You're playing the game. You're trying to learn everything about it. You're writing scripts. But here we are, thousands and thousands of views. You know, excellent thumbnails. This channel's on its way.
Two things I would like to add, and then I want to throw it over to Sean to maybe talk about the potential business opportunities of this channel. I love the branding of it. And when you might ask, well, where's the branding? It's that consistent use of the color theme, especially the backgrounds, that same use of text and that same salmon pink that they're using in all of the titles. So that every time you see this in a browser and suggested, you know instinctively that it's from GazTommo. The one thing I would maybe like to see this channel try and address is the fact that sometimes you just feel as if you got to drop in Clash Mini in the title with the pipe. I'm wondering how you can organically fit Clash Mini into the titles a little bit more. It might just be as easy as adding in Clash Mini as opposed to a pipe. This one I'm thinking in particular, New Bandit Explained Clash Mini. I'm wondering if you can turn it into a title along the lines of, this is the best new character in Clash Mini and they're a bandit. Or that needs a little bit of tweaking, but just maybe less search obvious.
The new bandit in Clash Mini is OP.
There you go, Dan. Thank you for fixing that for me. And with that, Sean, I just thought, looking at this channel, it is primed for monetization opportunities, just the way to look. So how might we try and tackle this for the channel?
Well, actually, I would love to briefly have this conversation because this is a mobile game, correct?
Yes, it is.
So seeing as this is a mobile game and it's free with in-app purchases, correct?
I would believe so, yeah.
And typically you can't really make affiliate income even from the download of the game, which people would probably already have it here. So in my mind, the monetization opportunity, because it's also a mobile game, there's not really the opportunity to say to like how to build the ultimate PC or the mouse or the keyboard you're using or the setup, or everybody already has their mobile phone for the most part. But as I think through it, I would think YouTube ad revenue, shorts and long form. I would think perhaps building a community. I think looking at Pat Flynn's channel of his Pokemon channel, they've really built their channel memberships up. And I think that with the quality of content you're putting out here and maybe some stuff that people be interested in, channel memberships becomes interesting. I do think that then as you tap into maybe subscription boxes, that sometimes there could, if there is a way, and I lean into affiliate marketing, but what I'm unsure of is that if there's actually affiliate marketing opportunities here, class, can we actually buy the toys? And where can you purchase those? There's some on AliExpress, there's some on eBay. Neither of those are very great. Clash of Clans, the board game, you might point something that's on Amazon. So you could say, hey, by the way, you might be interested in this. It's super fun. I played with my family, different things. But to me, the way I typically lean monetization for this channel, it leads a little bit more entertainment. I'm thinking ad revenue, channel memberships. But do you, Dan or Rob, have any ideas beyond that?
It's a fantastic point, and I'm thinking of creating your tribe and fellowship of a game and creating these unique slogans and in-jokes and things that you're always using in every single video, and maybe you turn that into a t-shirt or you turn it into a mug or other merching opportunities. That's immediately where my mind is going with that. I don't think you could do like paid courses and stuff because, as you say, Sean, the typical consumer of this content is probably a younger demographic and it's a free game, so they're mostly playing the free version of it. And so, yeah, creating that tribe amongst your unique content for the game. I may have stolen the earlier idea you've got, Dan, but any more thoughts?
If it hasn't been mentioned already, I mean, I think I saw them on camera when you clicked one of the videos, so that alone is opportunities for affiliate links and things like that for stuff going on in your setup.
Live streams? Is that
live streams
a good opportunity? Yeah.
Live streams can be. I think live streams are a great way to build that community, to get your current fan base even more invested and, come up with some cool, fun things for everybody to do. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, even with gaming channels. If you can't start a course, there's still tons of stuff.
All right, and that is GazTommo, and you can hear that music. That brings us to the top of the hour, the second hour of vidIQ live stream. So this week, and we're going to call it a fantastic session. And now Dan and this is a dance cam for both of you. Dance like a whatever.
Okay, it's weird when you yell at us to dance. That's
I think Sean's into it. This is awesome. Let's just put Sean on full screen for 60 seconds. Nice, Dan, nice. We've got this on loop, Sean, so we're just going to keep doing it. Folks, if you've enjoyed this live stream, then do give us some likes. I want to say a huge thank you to our moderators. Those include Calvin the Unfindable, Slavgard, Tish, and Victoria. You do an amazing job every single week. Sean, it's a pleasure and honor to have you on. Remind us where you are on YouTube.
Think Media is the YouTube channel. If you haven't heard about it, I highly recommend checking it out. You may want to subscribe. It's all about the best tips and tools for helping you build your influence with online video. Let's get your lighting right, your camera right, even just your affordable accessories for your smartphone so you can make higher quality content. And then what is that content strategy? What are the tips? What's working right now? And even down to details like what are the best ways to save on your taxes as a content creator? That video just came out. Probably not the topic you thought you wanted, but it's the topic you need. And so check all that stuff out on Think Media on YouTube. And my name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. Dan, Rob, always a pleasure.
Dan, I'll give you the final words of the week.
make videos.